Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal Regular Council meeting for December 9th, 2020, the last meeting in 2020, and I know everybody wants 2020 to end. So let's see if we can move on. First item of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. Kevin, can you lead us in the pledge?
Yes.
Everybody please stand and face the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Carol, can you lead us in a prayer?
Father, we thank you for this opportunity as we assemble before your presence. We thank you for the business of the town and that we will make decisions that will be for the betterment of this town. And we thank you for this holiday season as we remember those as they go forth, Lord God, that we will bless them and give them the desires of their heart. These things we ask in your name. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. First item of business is we have 3 sets of minutes that we need to approve that were in our packets. We've got the minutes from our public hearing on November 4th, the minutes from our regular council meeting on November 4th, and minutes from our special meeting on November 12th. What is the pleasure of council?
I move that we approve the minutes from the public hearing of November 4th, the regular council meeting of November 4th, and the special meeting held on November 12th.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes?
None noted.
None, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, everybody. That's unanimous. Our next item is a presentation, regional ordinance, the Coastal Resilience Overlay Zone, and the fill restriction standards. Rob Merchant. Welcome, Rob, and glad to see you.
All right. Likewise, thank you for the opportunity to present. Both of these ordinances that I'm going to be presenting today are recommendations from the Ladies Island Plan. That was a joint plan that we did between Beaufort County, the City of Beaufort, and the Town of Port Royal for Ladies Island. But one of the issues that came out of that, and a lot of this, of course, was a reaction to the Walmart, was there was concern about low-lying areas, getting built up with a lot of fill and really changing the landscape, affecting the floodplain. And so one of the recommendations of that plan was to develop an ordinance to restrict fill in low-lying areas. And then the other one was what they call the sea level rise overlay, some sort of overlay district to apply to, once again, low-lying areas. And immediately, when we began to look at implementing these two, we realized these are simply not just Ladies Island issues, they're regional issues. And so we wanted to try to really explore the implications of adopting these ordinances. So we put together a task force made up of county and municipal officials, members of the development community. We got a lot of input from them, and also experts, different people like Chris Marsh, Kate Schaefer, or Ricky Parker, with the Coastal Conservation League, provide their input as well. So what I have today are 2 draft ordinances that came out of that, and the goal is that that we would adopt this, not just the county, but the city and the town across the board. Because we feel that these types of issues don't really know jurisdictional boundaries. Just a real brief overview, and you all have, I guess, copies of these ordinances in hand. The fill ordinance is an ordinance that would restrict, basically fill in low-lying areas. And by low-lying, it is identified as at or below 10 feet above sea level, so NASD 88 scale. The restriction would be, in these areas, there would be a limit of 3 feet of vertical fill, for land that is developed. And what this would do, is really the areas that are 10 feet or below are generally low-lying areas. This is kind of a subset of our existing floodplain, so it's even lower than areas currently identified in the as floodplains. It would limit those areas, from being overdeveloped, which would be necessary, like in the case of a Walmart, where, to bring it up to base flood elevation, they would have to bring in more than 3 feet of fill. It would avoid that kind of situation. we carefully considered the impact that this would have on single-family residential. We wanted to make sure that we were not creating unintended consequences, or this would be a burden to people who were just wanting to build houses. And so there are a lot of modulation requirements and different things that provide flexibility for small property owners. And it's really designed to target large-scale commercial development in low-lying areas. But that's kind of a real quick overview. We brought this before the Ladies Island Plan Implementation Committee meeting back in October, and then it went to the Northern Beaufort County Implementation Committee. So, you know, we really work for the goal tonight is simply to make council aware that this draft is out there. And once, you know, there's a comfort level, then the goal would be then to bring it formally through the adoption process. You know, go to Metro and back to council.
So at this point, it has not gone through any of the planning commissions and being proposed. It's still really getting everybody used to it.
Yeah, we made a presentation to the Natural Resources Committee of County Council as like an information-only item. We're going to be talking to City Council after the first of the year. So, you know, then, once we get some direction, we're going to then consider formally presenting it for adoption.
Council, questions for Rob? I've seen a draft of the ordinance, one of the meetings that
I think at the Northern Regional, we reviewed it there.
I think you're right. It was either that or the ladies, I'm not sure which one it was, but you're right.
But yeah, I'm fine with it as presented. I think it covers a lot of good points.
And it's been a conversation we've been having about Phil and how much is appropriate, I'm really glad that some thought has been put into the residential side of it, you know, and it's not affecting somebody to do what I'll call a stilt home.
Right.
You know, it does allow them to build maybe a driveway, a pad, and then do a stilt home and that kind of stuff rather than just filling it in. But it does prevent that large commercial infill.
We had David Gasquet weighed in quite a bit on this, and he's somebody who's there in the front lines. He knows all the quirky situations, and so we wanted to make sure, you know, if we consider this or that, and that we're not putting a hardship on people for their houses. So.
Very good.
Just real quick, thanks for being here and keeping us in the loop on this. I really appreciate that. I was just gonna, do you have a goal on a timeline on when you would like to see this ordinance coming in front of councils for votes?
Yeah, I would say the most ambitious would be that we get some input from City Council, and then we go to Metro Planning Commission and start the formal adoption process. We would start there, and then, you know, then it would go off to, you know, one go into the city, one go into the county, one go into the town. You know, so that, you know, I would say the most ambitious would be a January Metro Planning Commission, and then over to Town Council in early February.
Okay.
But,
So you're going to do the Metro, then the County Planning Commission, and
Yeah,
the
we
Metro
do
would
that.
go to the councils?
yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
Yeah, and this is exactly, I guess, what that Metro was designed to be and be able to deal with that regional. And I think this is one similar to, I remember the plastic bag ordinance, where we're all going to be looking for everybody to do it the same across the board, so any changes that are made are going to have to be watched closely. If any of the planning commissions offer any changes, it may have to run the cycle again, and we just,
Yeah, no, and I think this is great. I mean, everybody, we can see it every day and know that development's definitely coming to, you know, Beaufort County in general, but northern Beaufort County, so it's great to see. I think this is a very proactive step, so that's great.
I think what we're seeing is, as the good land gets used up, people start looking at more marginal land. And so I
nothing
think
easy anymore.
more pressure in the future to,
All the easy ones are done.
yeah, yeah.
We've joked about that before in some way. You know, it's a shame that during, you know, this time when we all have to stay so social distance and we need so much more room, this is one of those perfect ones where it almost makes sense that the two commissions come together, the county and the Metro, and do it in one meeting, you know, and present everything and talk through it and do it rather than the back and forth. But if right now, there's just no way to do anything that big. It just would be too difficult, and they'll work it out.
No, and-
Linda, do you have something you want to add?
I did.
Please.
I wanted to be certain that before council left this evening, that they did take a look at, I think it's probably about the second page down, provision I. There is a provision for us to named redevelopment areas that
Okay.
that in the municipality, we might want to exempt from these regulations because of their uniqueness. So you might get questions about that over the next 30 days. I thought it was important that you did realize that
Thank you.
there was that opportunity in there. Of course, we may not have anything to plug in there, but we just might.
Mhm.
So we'll be thinking about that as it goes forward.
Very
Thank you for
good.
that,
Thanks,
Dick.
I should have brought that up.
Where
Thank
would,
That's okay.
where would this be inserted in our code? Zoning code?
Yes, it will go in the zoning code. The county is drafting it in Article 5, and that's where our design standards, so it'll be somewhere around resource protection, somewhere around
Okay.
in there.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for bringing this to us, and keep us informed of any changes, if any changes come to the ordinance, so that we can see them and understand kind of how and why they changed in that way.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I definitely will.
we look forward to it. It's an important issue.
Okay, and then just real quick, there are two ordinances, the other one is the coastal resilience overlay.
Go ahead.
Or did you want me to just handle both?
Yeah, handle both now.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, this one is very straightforward. Once again, this applies to the 10 feet or below in elevation, but this is simply a requirement for disclosure at real estate, transfers, that people are aware that, land that is, there's a likelihood that there'll be increased flooding in the future. So there is, most of the language of this ordinance is crafted around the notification statement that would have to accompany, during a real estate transfer. This is very similar to what, we currently require with the airport overlay district around the Marine Corps Air Station, with the noise contours. We're going to be presenting this to the Board of Realtors in January, so so far the reception has been pretty good. I mean, it's not been negative, and so I think it's more of a just making people aware that this is coming down the pike, and that they're different. The realtors are aware, so that this makes it a closing when the property is transferred.
Good. Linda, we look forward to hearing your evaluation of both of these. And thanks again for coming in,
All
Rob.
right, thank you,
In
Rob.
these
Thank
unusual
you.
times, great to see you, mask on and all. It's good, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. All
Actually,
right.
it's probably our first one since this.
Yeah, you are the first to present to council since we've come back into this
Oh,
room,
okay.
Yeah.
face to face. You
Yeah, I'm kind of like a pioneer.
are absolutely.
Or a canary
right.
in the mine, whatever.
All right, well,
Thank
thank you.
you.
Have a good night, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you.
Okay, Van, you're up with your council briefing.
Yeah, give me one sec. All right. Real quickly, obviously stormwater, the largest item under that particular topic is the Cypress wetlands and the work that's currently going on. I think most of you have driven by, seen it. I think it looks fantastic in my opinion. Sean helped us with the signage around the wetlands to give people an idea of what we're up to. Despite all of our public relations efforts prior to that, there was some concern about what we were actually doing. The boards help educate the public. I even spoke to somebody at the YMCA and sent them the PDF so they could print handouts so their members that started asking those questions. I will say that because of the amount of spoils or dredge that was created, we have or are going to be able to create that third island, which is good. So there'll be another, protected rookery for the birds. I think we're anticipating another 4 to 5 weeks of work. So, and that will continue. There we go. But I think so far we've been pleased. Unfortunately, it took longer to get started than we anticipated, but I think well worth the wait.
Just to add to that, I was out of the blue. I had an appointment yesterday with somebody who just made the statement to me that she likes to come down and just visit the sands at the end of the day, a lot of times after work, just to relax before she goes home. And she said she always liked to stop at the Cypress Wetlands, and when she saw it, she was so nervous and got out of the car walked over to her and looked at good, read the board, and she was like, that is amazing what you're doing, it is a great thing. And she just praised council and the town for what they're doing and reading the sign. And Sean, thank you, S&K, thank you for the sign. It obviously, to this person who I never spoke to about this, was very informative and thought it was an amazing thing we were doing, so. Just wanted to add that to council, that people are seeing it and are proud of it.
Good deal.
Good, looks good.
All right, and just a little bit of a continuation. Working with Gray Ghost, we did some pretty significant cleanup along the 8th Street fence line in Madrid Pond. Kind of that first phase of it has been wrapped up. They've put us back on the schedule to take care of the second phase, which is a continuation to clean out entirely behind that pond. Once we get that cleaned out, get that section of fence taken out, we will be able to run the drop to be able to put the aerator in the Madrid Pond. So a lot of the issues that we've addressed in duck blinds, we'll be able to do over there as well. So
You're gonna skip over those live oaks that are along that fence line
yes,
and leave
the
those
live
up.
oaks that are in there, we're going to keep. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a pretty dramatic change in terms of the vista. Obviously, we've seen what the first phase of this did. And the residents, who we thought would be a little concerned, are very happy from what the ones that were initially impacted visually. And obviously, we were able to clear out the foundations. So you get a good look at those now and to see what's back there. So, but it is a pretty dramatic change in
Looks great.
the view corridor.
Good.
We covered the next topic previously, so we're fine. Landscape RFP, that has pretty much been finished. We brought in a landscape architect to review the document and add any additional areas. One of them that we wanted to make sure we included was the improvements to the Fort Frederick Passive Park. So that's being drafted and included. We'll probably look to award that contract maybe in January, possibly February, depending upon how we get it out to the potential bidders. We will notify the companies that typically bid on these sorts of things, so they'll get notification. All right. Old Fort project, I think that's going pretty well. If you've been by there this week, they are resurfacing the road.
Actually, I drove there tonight before the
Yeah.
meeting, the resurface is completed.
It
Yes.
They
is.
did, they finished it today.
So we're pretty excited about that.
They're at Greenway Court now.
We're still working on the second phase. There's some details that they're trying to figure out. I know Duncan would like to proceed, but there's some things we got to work out potentially with Gray Ghost in the county, and I'll keep you apprised as how that moves forward. CDBG, when I drafted this, we had not heard back from the streetscape improvement for Paris Avenue. Obviously, since then, we did receive notice of award, about $655,000 for the streetscape improvements.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so just for everybody, I'll read the letter that I opened tonight at council meeting from the governor. It says, "Dear Mayor DeVito, it is my pleasure to announce that the town of Port Royal will be awarded $644,490 in community development block funding for the continuing enrichment program. Funds will be used for a streetscape improvement along Paris Avenue in Port Royal." So this is great. Thank you for getting these documents in, and we really look forward to moving this project along.
Absolutely. Next one, Spanish Moss Trail. We had a discussion today with some folks from Spanish Moss Trail and Beaufort County and the engineers that have been involved, and been contracted by the county to evaluate what our options are. I would like to say there was tremendous progress made today on determining which one was the most viable option, but we discussed some of the concerns. One of the things that we found out today is that if you are looking to do a mast arm signal install, there is a 9-month wait right now for the poles. So that's something that we need to take into consideration. And it's something we also need to think about if we are going to eventually do that for Edinburgh, that we probably may want to think about pre-ordering these things in anticipation of some intersection improvements. Having said that, you need to make sure that the design is in place. So there's some discussion of what our options are at the rail crossing. Would it be a bridge? Would it not be a bridge? Would there be a hog signal? Would it be a traditional signal? With a lot of back and forth trying to figure out the timing issues. Regardless of if we're wedded to that rail corridor, either one of the parcels adjacent to Edinburgh and Vinay could come in tomorrow and request a development, and a traffic impact study might dictate that a signal be installed at Edinburgh. That could happen, and if it's warranted, DOT is going to do that. The second part of that discussion is when this linear separation between the two, and we were pointed out example after example of where that linear limitation has been accepted. There was also discussion of the signal being necessary. You need at least 80 left-hand turns per hour in order to justify the installation of a signal. There are many examples where that doesn't happen either. So I think there's some ways to massage this. However, this is all very preliminary. The county, when they drafted the initial contract to evaluate the engineering for the crossing, has now expanded the scope of that to take into consideration basically from the bridge all the way to the other bridge, kind of that corridor, more focused on Paris Avenue to there. So I think they're going to come up with maybe some longer-term solutions because we all know that we have pretty significant concerns about the traffic and the speeds through that corridor and what the implications are for getting DOT to agree to the crossing. So there may be a temporary solution at Edinburgh until we can get the permanent solution. Because I think we all know, depending upon, I don't think you guys are ready to tackle what's adjacent to Rebo right now. And with 3 legs of a 4-leg intersection, it's hard to warrant that. But I think we have to do whatever's necessary to set the table for that, as well as make sure we're on whatever capital list is being created to ensure that whatever we would like to see there is included, whether it's impact fee or eventual penny, or obviously the spine road is included in the TIF. So,
Van, did I also understand that the county added to that contract of engineering from the bridge to the bridge, but also from Rebo to Battery Creek?
correct.
Yeah, so they're looking at all the traffic that comes through, Lenora and Drayton and Edinburgh, all trying to find their way to Battery Creek. So they're evaluating that as well.
Right.
As part of that expansion of the plan, I think, which is really good, which Tool, our engineer also looked at and said that it makes sense to do something else other than, so hopefully these two plans can come together at some point.
Right, yeah. Shrimp facility, obviously we're working with Gray Ghost on some conceptual drawings at the moment. One of the larger kind of secondary things that's going on is this allocation of non-recurring funds at the state level. There's a list that's being created of projects for potential funding in Beaufort County, both north and south. And with the projected or anticipated cost of this building, as well as what the costs are for construction of that dock, those are things we've asked to be included in that list. What they're looking for is shovel-ready projects. I think we're about as close as anybody conceivably could be to getting those sorts of things funded with the estimates we have in place and the understanding of what our timelines are. They are included. So hopefully we'll see some discussion in the next few weeks with the senators, both Davis and Campson, that represent Beaufort County, and how that statewide money will be allocated to Beaufort County. And so we are on that list. There's some discussion, how would you prioritize all of those projects? I think it's pretty important that all entities in Beaufort County have some priority on that list, and it's not weighed in any sort of way or in any sort of direction, that there's at least a balance to it. All right. Any questions about that?
No, sir.
All right. Audit, y'all received a paper copy. I've asked Lisa to send us a PDF. I know some of you would rather look at it that way. We will have an audit report in January.
Okay.
You got it. Baynard Cove, we did have a complaint about truck traffic. I reached out to the developer of the property and asked that they alter those traffic patterns to try to exclusively use Baynard to stay off of Shell Point, stay off of Hickory, stay off of any of the other roads. You're understanding that a lot of these trucks are, third-party contractors, being used by the site folks, but we've asked that they change their traffic patterns. Obviously, we've probably gotten additional complaints about the development there, and I completely understand them, but what they're doing right now is legal. Redevelopment Commission, not much to report. They're getting ready to do kind of more of a, I guess, a quasi brainstorming / retreat at their next meeting. They're meeting with John O'Toole with the Economic Development Corporation to discuss, some larger or corridor-related items. So I'll keep you posted when that agenda is ready. Traffic and road projects. Jeff has started the installation of the traffic signs on Old Shell Road. He had them out there. He's going to probably paint those the next couple of days. I gave him the hi-ho and the locations today, so that's moving along. Clink is preparing that encroachment permit to DOT for the Waddell crossing. I sent him everything that he needed for the maps. Looking at the resurfacing list, I know that the DOT has got Pinckney Boulevard on the schedule. We're hoping to see that work done soon. I think Waddell, Johnny Morrell Circle is another one, adjacent to Burger King, is also on that list. And I think I gave you all a copy of the resurfacing list that was put out recently. And we're a little disappointed at some of the sequencing. I don't think we see anything into Northern Beaufort County until year 4 of a 5-year plan. So hopefully we'll have some more input on that. I think the mayor, you made some comments at the CTC meeting, I believe, or it was at the LATS meeting.
It was at the LATS meeting.
And I don't know if you want to give them
Sure.
an overview of what was said or done.
So last Friday, we had a LATS meeting, and the CTC did a presentation on their plan. And in that presentation, it did talk about the municipal roads being included in the 5-year survey of the roads to rate the roads and get a PCI score for the roads so that the roads can be evaluated and the need can be according to what's needed rather than political subdivision lines. And in there, it said that the municipalities would receive back a report, but it named all the municipalities except for Port Royal. But it was an error in Scribe. They have our roads. They are planning on giving us a report. They were going to make that change to that. So if you happen to look at the CTC document, it doesn't list Port Royal, but the Chairman Gordon said absolutely Port Royal's roads are being included. We had submitted them on time. We followed the protocols, and our roads are going to be driven the same as every other roads, and we will have a new PCI score on all of the Port Royal-owned roads so that we and CTC and everybody can make educated decisions on what road needs to be first. And also it gives you what type of rehabilitation, whether it's road preservation, total reconstruction, or just a mill and overlay, So it really helps us with looking at a long-term capital cost for road repair, where we can then take this, Tony can look at it and say, well, here's your new numbers of what it's going to cost, and we can look at how we want to split it out over a number of years. So it's good information. I think they expected March, I believe, we should ask Rob, he would have known. It's being let, and then we'll see who it gets let to, and then it's pretty quick how they drive the roads. We've all seen the van with all these crazy cameras all over it, and they drive down the streets, and they'll give us really good reports on our roads. We'll have photographs, and we'll have information about all of our roads. So it's been a project that I have personally been working on for about 4 years when I was on the CTC, and now here, and we're finally at this point to get municipal roads included in that survey.
So that error has been fixed? And
The error has been acknowledged, and it's supposed to be updated in their
Did
plan.
they give a timeline on?
No, I didn't, and I haven't gone back to see if they
Gotcha.
uploaded a new one, but I'll make a note to go back and
It
check
was
it.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah, it was just Friday, yep. But it was a good conversation with Chairman Gordon.
Tool study, not much to add here. I just wanted to mention that there was a couple of little tweaks that y'all wanted. I think one of the graphics had a lane error, and we're going to ask them to go back and fix that. But, just wanted to mention that we've created a plan, which is really what you need to have in place if you're looking for larger, grants, such as what happened in the Ladies Island plan. We have created something that's being enhanced by what the county's doing, that will have at least a pathway to move forward on significant larger projects along that corridor. Porter's Chapel, coursework starts in the spring. We're pretty excited about that. We're going to, based upon the feedback I got from y'all on name signage, we can start working in the conceptual work. And upon, a selection of the landscape company, we'll sit down with them and work out a plan for landscaping around that, around the chapel. So,
Anything on we talked last time, I think, about what kind of ceremony we would have, or?
well, a few more months.
Few more months, okay.
Yeah. I'd like to get the landscaping in place, signage up.
Yeah.
Have it looking really good.
Yeah.
And maybe us not have to wear these things when we're all there.
And I wonder if there's any way to work with the county on the park and do some sort of a big joint kind of ceremony with the Porter's Chapel, the park, because they're so close, they're related.
Yeah.
The National Park Service is gonna be using both. I mean, is there a way to kind of bring that together and they do a grand opening for the park? We do something at the Porter's Chapel and really do have a nice event that day, and have the county participate with us, because they're gonna be invited to the Porter's Chapel as well.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Porter's Chapel down to the park.
Walk, take a nice walk to the park for anybody who wants to, and some things in that way. It's a great idea, Darrell.
Yep, sure. I wish I had more news on this, but I don't. I think with the election, maybe things got shuffled in terms of priorities, and, we thought we were making some headway with the Naval Hospital sidewalk, but we have not. So,
Yeah, just so everybody know, you were talking about the Naval Hospital sidewalk, you
Yeah.
titled it. Very good.
Yeah, and that goes hand in hand. I did have a conversation with the former mayor of Beaufort today about some of the backside, the back fence issues, and that's something he's working on as well. So hopefully we'll make some progress there, some congressional progress. I think you're going to reach out potentially to the newest member of Congress to hopefully.
I've reached out to her I've reached out to her, Joe, you
all about it.
probably have.
Yep.
I don't know, Kevin, have you, Nancy Mace?
To her chief of staff.
We've communicated with her.
All right, good. So, Paris Island, not much more. I just want to mention, obviously, y'all approved participation in the resiliency grant. So I haven't heard anything different, anything new on that front. Just wanted to make you aware of that. Next item, it kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about, which is the allocation of funds for road improvements. Several months ago, I gave y'all the documents associated with the tag fee, what our anticipated collections were, and how those dollars have been allocated across the county. The mayor has talked to the chairman, and we talked to some of the higher level staff members and asked them to think about maybe changing how those funds are allocated. Initially, as was mentioned, when the CTC was created and these tag funds were created, we were paving a lot of dirt roads. A lot's changed since then, and we all have obligations to resurface roads. We do not have many, if very few, county-owned roads in Port Royal. It's either state-owned or it's owned by the
Port
town.
Royal Bus.
Owned by us. And we all know about our resurfacing needs. So if there's an opportunity to maybe look at an allocation without having to adopt our own tag fee, this might be a chance for them. We've asked them to consider it.
Yeah, I framed the conversation around, like Van said, that when the original county tag fee was put in place, the municipalities were very much smaller than they are now. And a lot of the roads were county roads, and a lot of the county roads were dirt roads. I mean, you go all the way back, I know some that grew up here, Pine Grove Road was a dirt road, and that was one of the early ones paved off of these type of fees. And is it time to go back to that ordinance and look at that ordinance and divide that money up between the municipalities and the county, instead of having double ordinances and double fees? And that's that's how that conversation was framed. We'll see where we go. I'm gonna bring the other mayors involved and see if we can't keep that ball rolling so we can find a funding source for our roads.
Next item, local option sales tax, scheduled to keep it moving towards a potential November 21 referendum. I think that timeline is still in place, and certainly that is something that would assist with some capital projects. I think it's 71% of it has to be dedicated to property tax relief, with the balance being allocated as you see fit. Obviously, I think I've recommended in the past that you dedicate the funds to, ankle down sort of stuff, drainage, streets, sidewalks. So if we get there, that's something that we can do.
Way to go.
Short-term rentals, still having the same problems. I've asked our lawyer to reach out to the contacts with the other kind of rental portals, if you will. We have, somebody here in town that has paid the local accommodation tax to VRBO or Airbnb. Airbnb claims to have then remitted it to us, while she also paid it to us as well. We cannot reconcile what Airbnb paid because there's no reference point. I cannot say I received this check and X percent of that check goes to this house on whatever street. There's nothing that's attached to that. And the Department of Revenue, as I've told all this before, sees these things as tax returns. Only if they're audited will they provide the backup information. So I think there needs to be a statewide solution to this. We're trying to come up with some interim to help this one particular property owner so that we can figure out if she did indeed pay us, we'll refund the dollars. But right now I can't do that because I can't show that that's actually happened. So that's ongoing. But I do think that's something that needs to be handled at the state level. Some legislation that at least gives the Department of Revenue the software capabilities to track these things. If they're able to geocode Ubers, they should be able to geocode houses.
True.
Okay. Garbage. Mentioned we've had some improvement with this new government affairs office. It's been very responsive. Azalea Square is working out something independent. We discovered a billing error, which we're addressing and fixing, and we're working out an arrangement with Azalea Square and Waste Pro that will handle them from this point forward. All right?
Last couple of pickups have been on schedule and on time. It seems like they've,
Yeah, I think maybe even a little earlier than I had anticipated.
I don't want to see any of you running early in the morning down the driveway. We're trying to wave them down. Smile X and Ron Road, I gave you all a little bit of backup information on that. We're trying to resolve it. We just want to make sure that that our residents and property owners have adequate egress, ingress, if we should change the traffic patterns in that area. I think we're excited about the potential opportunities to do something there, but that's just our primary concern. I don't know if either one of you want to add anything to that.
you'll work with the developer and just memorialize, our concerns in a document, and, I think then we can move forward with what they want to do. I
We
mean,
met with the developer a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3, 4 weeks ago. We were really specific as far as our concerns there. We want to make sure that our residents can get in and out with any kind of, any blocking or being impeded by anything or any future.
Right.
And I think we were pretty clear on that.
Yeah, and we understand when and if a road redesign happens, it's the traffic design, we understand the traffic flow, and that construction needs to be permitted before any closure of any existing. And then the other piece we added is to make sure that the utilities can be accurately,
Right.
and served to those residents along there, not just access, but that there's not an issue with getting any utilities to them along these roads as well.
Sure.
So
And just a reminder, we amended our contract with Tool to add discussion and conceptual drawings of how that property would be impacted by Edinburgh. I don't know if you'll remember that. So it is something that y'all have given great thought to and committed dollars to.
Right.
So we do want to see something happen there. And those are the couple things we just want to make sure are squared away.
Sure. We go.
All right?
Appreciate your work on that.
The last one, obviously, this is something that's not unique to us. Every municipality is dealing with how they handle Christmas. I think what y'all did the other day with the assistance of Santa Claus was very helpful.
Done it twice. It's been awesome.
Yep. Please thank Santa when you see him.
Yeah, it's amazing we had time to come back.
Yeah.
So, and then this is just a recommendation. Take a look at that and let me know if that's okay. I think it's, we revisit, March, April, about to get together for employees, kind of show our appreciation. But I think it's something we should do. I just don't think that right now in an enclosed setting or in close proximity is a great idea.
And I think that's at your discretion. I don't think you need anything from us.
Okay.
We'll talk to you one.
I just wanted to make y'all aware of it.
Right.
That's what I've got, but I'll obviously answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Van? Anything that you did not update that you'd like an update on? Hearing none, we'll move on to emergency ordinances. We have two tonight. First ordinance is ordinance 20-20-35, an emergency ordinance for the town of Port Royal, South Carolina, to reestablish requiring individuals to wear face mask coverings in certain circumstances in light of COVID-19 pandemic and matters related to their and its servability. One of these days I'm going to say that word right. What's the pleasure of council?
I make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2020-35. I think it's very important at this time that we continue to wear our mask as the pandemic has worsened, and I think that over the next couple of months, I think we're going to continue to see that, and I think we have to look at what we're doing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. It's unanimous. Second ordinance is ordinance 20-20-36, an emergency ordinance to reauthorize emergency ordinance number 20-20-26 related to electronic meetings and other matters related thereto. Pleasure of council.
I make a motion we adopt ordinance 2020-36.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Jerry, did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please raise your hand.
Aye.
It is unanimous. Thank you, everybody, for both of those. We have first readings tonight. We have ordinance 20-20-37, an ordinance prohibiting camping in public places in the town of Port Royal. It's the first time we're seeing this. Are we going to receive a presentation?
Yeah, I'm gonna open up I'm trying to pull this ordinance up
Is that because of
so you guys can take a look at it. Give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Has this been an issue?
Well, just this was an issue that occurred in the city of Beaufort out of some concerns raised about some issues they were having in Waterfront Park. And something that has recently come to our attention is that we had a similar situation where we basically have someone who is living at the skateboard park. They were using the Coke machine, a picnic table, and kind of creating a living space. I don't certainly want to be insensitive to, that particular person, but obviously this is a skateboard park with families using this facility on a regular basis. And we cannot close the park, but I do think that we have an obligation to make sure that nobody's living at the park or what we call urban camping. And this is, at first reading, an ordinance to initiate the discussion to see how council wants to handle this issue moving forward.
Very good. We can certainly pass, we can have a motion to do it by title and ask for a solid presentation next month. Or actually, we could ask it to be on our workshop so that we can talk about it in a workshop and go
Right.
through the ordinance itself and understand its repercussions, but so that it doesn't get stalled because it is an issue of time here. We can do it tonight by title only and then work out the details and then do second reading
Sure.
at the workshop and then second reading at our January meeting. If that fits everybody's thoughts and needs, just give me what the pleasure of council is.
That's fine. I make a motion to approve ordinance 2020-37.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by raising your hand.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, and we look forward to some presentations at our workshop meeting in January, and then second reading following if everything goes good.
Sure.
Okay? We've got two council actions. We've got appointments, Economic Development Board and Municipal Election Commission.
Yeah, just on the Economic Development Board, I currently serve as the town's representative. I am the only unelected member of the board who is there are a couple of civilians that are there, but if it's a representative of either the county or the other municipalities, it is an elected official.
Okay.
And so I wanted to know what the pleasure of council was in terms of how we wanted to continue representation on the board.
Well, council, is there a council member who would like to take Van's seat?
Or
What's
if
the
there's a
commitment of
civilian, or
this?
if you've got somebody in town you might want to
What
think
is the
about.
commitment? What's the time commitment?
Well, right now, it's a Zoom meeting. It's a 2 or 3 hours a month. I mean, obviously, you get the materials 4 or 5 days beforehand. Take a look at it. Right now, it's once a month.
Council, I'm full. With all the other one, I'm kind of full right at the moment.
Can we continue to push it through the fact that we have a vacancy through social media means and see if anybody,
Find a citizen rather than one of us?
I
anybody
think
wants to
that's a good
step up
idea.
or? and make-
So really, then the action that we would say tonight is we want to fill this seat with a citizen of the town of Port Royal rather than a council member.
Potentially.
You potentially could. I mean, I think you've got some decent candidates in town, particularly if all of you have obligations. But if you
Post
don't,
it.
So let's get a motion to post this, well, let's do the second one as well in case we want to post them both. Talk to us about the second one. Talk to us about
the second one is Ms.
Municipal
Selma,
Election Commission.
who passed away. Those are very big shoes to fill. So, and in this day and age, a municipal election commissioner is taking on a pretty significant role. So I think we do need to advertise that one as well.
I think we need to post it on social
I
media.
think we can,
I do too.
let's post both
Okay,
of them.
so
Put it on
let's,
our e-blast that we put out.
Yeah, newsletter as well.
Yeah.
all right, so let's get a motion to post both of those. We want to fill both of these through a citizens committee. Let's get a motion.
I make a motion to post the Economic Development Board appointment as well as the Municipal Election Committee
Second.
appointment on social media and our e-blast in any other way we can.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Kevin, you have something you wanted to add there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if there's any way, and, less is more in those with social media, and you don't want to cloud it, but if there's any way we could give some kind of economic development board what that is, what's the commitment, municipal election commission, what that is.
Yep.
What that, because sometimes, the name of a board can be, misleading for certain
Yeah.
things, so kind of, because it'll allow people to look at that and think about whether they have, skills that think they could bring to the table, or.
Now, are you guys going to want to interview like you did?
Yes.
Yes,
I
yes,
think so.
yes. Okay?
Well, I think they need to understand too.
Like
the
a short
commitment,
description.
how long it's gonna take, a month, and, I mean, the municipal election probably won't be as
Cause they're,
congested as the elect.
And what are these appointments,
commission.
2 years, 4 years?
We'll find all of that out.
Okay.
Let's get the appointment, how long the appointment's going to be and all of that.
now, we do have 2 representatives on the Municipal Election Commission, right? Isn't Anthony Cuevas still on there?
Yeah, we do. We just have a seat. We have an
We have
empty seat.
3, we're being
Three.
told from the corner.
3, okay, 3.
1 vacancy,
vacancy.
1 vacancy,
2 solid.
okay.
Okay. Obviously, let's reach out to our other members as well and see if they have a thought in mind. All right, so we have a motion and a second. We were in discussion mode. I think everybody's good.
Yes, sir.
All in favor, signify by saying, well, raise your hand. On the cameras, aye. All right, next is our calendar for 2021, and it was laid out on the table. And, it's pretty much, we all know what it's gonna be.
In person. Pending.
Can I ask one question about this?
Absolutely.
So if I see that I've got a conflict and we're doing an in-person meeting, if we're under our emergency ordinance, can we continue to do it, can we zoom in on it?
Yes,
Absolutely.
that's the reason for that. If any of us are ill, sick, not saying COVID in any way, we request you do not come here, and we will get you a Zoom meeting to join us.
We'll send Sean or one of his staff members with you so he can set you up.
Yeah.
I got a trip.
Just make sure you get a room
Just
with
to
2
get you
beds.
set up.
And I think you know where that is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. No, I'm just kidding. You know me.
And, listen, as we come out of this, what we're in now with these emergency ordinance, we certainly can entertain looking at the rules of council and decide if we would allow electronic entry into a regular council meeting when this is all over, and in what frequency, emergency situations, once a year, whatever that is,
It's not
so
a
that
problem.
the council business can keep moving forward, and we all have lives and jobs. But that's something we can entertain once we get beyond this, a change of our rules to allow that. You know, we all learned a lot during these last 10 months, and we clearly can do business this way if we set ourselves up right.
Sure.
And I think Van made the statement early that municipal council rooms can be TV stations and audio stations after this is all said and done now. So we certainly can find a way to make that happen. So keep that in the back of the mind, and we can start looking if there's any kind of draft ordinances out there. Maybe reach out to the municipal association, and we can start looking at doing something permanent in that way.
I'm sure there's something, because it's not, even prior to COVID, it's not uncommon to have electronic
Correct.
feed into a regular meeting when someone is
Correct.
absent.
I do think, once we're done with this, though, face-to-face interaction with residents is important, so hopefully that doesn't become the norm.
I completely agree with you. We look forward to having more people sitting out there than the few we have right now. But that's the right thing to do at this point in time.
We miss them.
We do miss our citizens.
And real quick, Mayor, the emergency ordinance from earlier, those are still on a, from meeting to meeting, reoccurring basis?
The
30 days.
3036 is a 60-day
That's a
one.
60-day, okay.
The 35, the mask ordinance,
Is meeting
council
to
asked it
meeting.
to be
30
meeting to
days.
meeting, so that's what it is. But the
Okay.
3036, Brooke is shaking her head at me. Both are 30 days. Okay, so I thought we were doing them as a 60, okay. So both are 30 days. I
Okay, that's
apologize
good,
for
that's
that.
fine.
Apologize for that. Okay, next item is, we've got a discussion item. We've got an update on the port property. Gregos would like to address us. Chris? Oh, sorry, thank you. You need a vote on the calendar. Okay, do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the calendar as presented
Do we have
for
a
the
second?
21 year.
2021 council calendar. We have a motion and a
Second.
second. Any discussion on any dates or locations? Hearing none. Everybody in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
Well,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Brooke, for keeping us straight there. Chris Butler, welcome.
Thank you. Just going to go ahead and talk about the rumors that have been going out there with everybody that I'm sure unless you were asleep, somebody has approached you about the port being sold. It is not sold. The current owners are still Grey Ghost. I'm still a managing partner. There have been no changes. So any friends, relatives, neighbors ask you about it, it is still the same people.
Thank you. I think all of council
for
thanks you for
clarifying.
that, helps us.
Yeah, any questions on any of that?
Thank you,
Any
thank you
other
for
things?
clarifying, because it's been a meeting, it was posted in the papers, I read it, so.
Yeah.
any other updates? Anything you want to add? We
We're
appreciate
just,
that.
well, the improvements for the dry stack are ongoing with the town, so that we put in plans, waiting to hear from Linda's office. We're still moving forward on the Bluff neighborhood.
Those are the Jamaican shutters you talk, or
Yeah.
Mama shutters?
Mama shutters.
Right.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they're probably seeing Jamaican, see them here.
Four oil shutters.
Right.
Four oil shutters, we're gonna make a new name.
So that's going on, and the ongoing cleanup, the fence posts have been taken down, working on the Jersey barriers, we're hoping to have those, if not completely removed, moved at least to the side of the road where they're not gonna be a problem for vehicles. And I think there was some asphalt at London, that was gonna be taken up, that was actually supposed to be put in that section, a fencing in the field there, and they just missed where they put it, but that's all gonna be picked up and actually hauled off altogether, because we're having some improvements done down at the dry stack due to failing asphalt, due to an 80,000-pound machine, so.
Okay.
Well-
And the Bluff properties, the Bluff neighborhood you said is moving forward?
Yeah, we're moving forward on the Bluff neighborhood.
The view is
on the next-
spectacular.
On the next phase stuff. I think there's one item, I think that just got put into Linda, to get straightened out. And I think she got that about 8 this morning, I saw an email.
Okay.
So I think we're all good.
So-
Working on all that.
So clearing is what phase is happening now, and then next
Yeah,
starts
there-
infrastructure?
and and we've got, we still have Buford Jasper to come back. We had a meeting with Buford Jasper. We're still working with them on a couple of the, something to do with radiuses past my pay grade on engineering, something to do with radiuses on sewer pipes or something like that. So they're working on that, Greg's working on that with them.
Great,
Okay?
great. We appreciate it. Look, I think Darrell, make that statement again you just made.
Yeah, I came through last night and at night, and the view is spectacular
Yeah.
coming from the sands and going on just across the highway. It's spectacular.
And don't forget too, you know, we have the ability, some people forget about it. I know there's a lot of people working out down there in the front of the dry stack in that area. But we, you know, one thing that we had done, with the town's help, at the very beginning is you're basically able to walk from, when you come down Paris Avenue. If you go down Sixth, you can then go down the side of the dry stack, and there is a complete walkway to take you right to the boardwalk, be able to walk the whole way across that. So you're able to do that whole entire loop, and now you're able to really, once you come through Paris, if you make a right, you can walk the entire property to the right, going north, northwest, as well as going kind of the south, southeast.
Also, the clearing in the Bluff area also, just I drove back through there and went out through Edinburgh, and just I could see all the traffic and the lights coming across the bridge. So it's just.
Rocket Mortgage, Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, because it's certainly
Anybody
been an
any
improvement.
questions for Chris?
No, sir.
No. Chris,
You guys have a
thank you
good-
so much, and
Thank you.
appreciate you
Merry Christmas.
coming here tonight.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Yep.
Next item of business is important information and dates. We have 3 items on the agenda. We have Tuesday, December 15th, 4:30 is the redevelopment commission. Van updated us on that during his report. I think that's an important one. If anybody can join it, I will not be able to make that. Hopefully, it's recorded in some way,
We've
that
got
I'll be
it.
able to catch up with it later.
Kevin, that's your meeting, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so you'll be on that, and
Yep.
could probably maybe provide us an update should we need one.
Absolutely.
Thursday, Friday, December 24th and 25th, the town offices will be closed. You got to give them some time off for Christmas. I think it's appropriate. And Friday, January 1st, the town office will be closed. We'll open it up to any council comments of items that we currently have not talked about. Anybody have anything they would like to add?
I just want to echo what you said, and this year is a little strange for a lot of stuff that's going on and the traditions we've had in the past, but I've got a ton of positive public comments and feedback about the Santa Claus and the fire department going through the neighborhoods. You know, maybe that's something we can incorporate in addition to, once we get back to a normal schedule, in addition to what we do over at Live Oak Park. And I think he's made a couple of runs, and council has participated in that. And from the comments I hear, it's been well received.
Well, I just think that the faces that we saw that first night, from the grown-ups to the children, I mean, just their faces lit up, and to see something
It was
like
great.
that, I think all of us were a part of that, and it was just amazing. And so being able to see the smiles on the people's faces after what we've been through and continue to go through. And, you know, I would personally like to say thank you to all the town employees, and to Van and Linda and Brooke, of course, for always being here and keeping us up on stuff. And, you know, y'all do a fabulous job, and especially the strain that you've been under in the last 10 months. Thank y'all for what you do, and we can never thank you enough for that.
I'd like to echo Mary Beth and Jerry also. I received several calls, and also several people spoke to me about how pleased they were with the Santa coming through the neighborhoods as well. And it's great that times like these, of course, pushes us to be creative and think outside of the box. And I've heard nothing negative, and just to, as Mary Beth said, just to see the looks on the faces of the children as they ran out in the streets barefooted, and parents out there with their cameras as well.
The adults.
And the adults, of course, in their pajamas and barefooted, of course. So it was a positive experience and feedback that we received, and I commend the town, and again, echo Mary Beth with our workers out there. Thank you all for the hard job and dedication, and I wish you all a very happy Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season.
Amen.
It's good. Yeah, the Santa trip was a lot of fun. I just, for everyone watching, just want to challenge the citizens watching to, you know, this holiday season, really try to support any kind of local retail that you can, any restaurants that you can. It's been a tough year for both of those industries. So anything you can get your Christmas gifts here in Port Royal, go out to eat with your family, and here in Port Royal, that would be much appreciated. Also, we were given the Historic Port Royal Foundation and Museums doing a great program scavenger hunt of the history of Port Royal. It's a great way to really learn about the history. You go to the foundation. If you don't know, it's back behind the Corner Perk up at the north end of Paris Avenue. It's got 24 different stops, 23 stops throughout Port Royal. You can learn about the history, the beauty of this area. It's a really unique, fun thing to do maybe with some kids, or, you know, all ages can really enjoy it. So just something to check out. And like I said, just try to Merry Christmas to everyone. And if you can keep it local, try to.
Great.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah, the fire truck was great, and Santa was wonderful, and next year, we're gonna have that back in place, and maybe we can get some creative posts about neighborhoods and approximate times we're gonna be hitting, and we'll get some excitement about it and see if we can't get more people out there, because it was a very good evening. So with that said, the next item is public comment. And I did receive an email that was asked to be read into the record. This came tonight, and it was sent to all council. It says, "Dear Mayor and Council, how will the town budget be impacted from a revenue perspective if there is a change of control with respect to the current port owner? Specifically, do you anticipate planned project and budgets to be impacted in 2021? That was submitted by Greg Shelton. So I've read that one into the record. We also received an email earlier in the month about some references to the shrimp dock. I'm going to go ahead and read this. This also was asked to be read into the record. It did say if we had any meetings related to the town-owned seafood dock, but we did talk about the dock tonight and how we're going to put some funding. So I'm feeling like that needs to be go ahead and read into the record. So this is first, let me go ahead. I'm not going to read the beginning of this email, which really references why it came to me in an email. But after spending read the rest. After spending almost 2 years involved at the dock, working with the boat owners, shrimpers, local restaurants, and fish house from North Carolina to Biloxi, Mississippi, the best shrimp docks in the nation, this is what I have to offer to assist in making our dock viable and meaningful. For a simple dock operation that will save money and reduce problems. 1, form a dock committee to research and advise the developers, and the town manager should not be our consultant. 2, shrimp processing and leasing out space for contractors has shown in the FOIA to be a losing situation, both financially and operational for all our town. In this day and age, fish markets buy directly from the shrimpers and negotiating their price with shrimpers. No one wants or needs the town involved with the wholesale shrimp. This would also stop the constant fighting at the dock. 3, start treating the dock like a part of the town. Make a new department called Beaches, Boat Ramps, and Docks. Use the real town employees to run this new department. 4, rent dock space, sell ice and fuel, maybe a cooler for seafood holding area, but selling ice and fuel could actually be done by somebody else like Butler Marine. 5, until permanent building is in place, set up a temporary shed type of building at the end of the dock to be a temporary office for a town employee, or temporarily have no one there and just a sign with a number to call, and then have a town employee on call to go when needed. 6, possibly set up a camera system at the security gate. To summarize, form a dock committee, get out of the shrimp business, no lease needed, town maintenance, and town manage the dock to keep it simple. Thank you for your support. Lorraine Nance.
Can I make a comment? Can we back up to the first email? Because there were 2 questions.
Yeah, it's just a comment. We don't normally answer comments, but if you want,
Well, I think, I'm just going to say this, a pretty good statement. The port owner was here tonight, and he clearly said, we're the owner, we're not selling.
Right.
So I just want to make sure that I noted that. So,
Yeah, and we updated on the shrimp dock during the presentation.
that's
so
right. That's
We
right.
just read it. Brooke, anything else from the public that we need to add in the record?
I did not receive any others.
Very good. So at this time, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Along with that motion, a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, so moved.
We have a Merry Christmas, so moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor for the final meeting, signify by saying aye. Merry Christmas, Paul
Merry
Royal.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.